right, well, thank you everyone for waiting. I'd like to call this meeting to order, Tuesday, May 8th, 2018 at 6:17 p.m. Are there any additions to the agenda for routine administrative matters and or pressing matters that will require ratification at a future meeting? Yes, sir.
I have one item to add, item number 4D, which is consider request to forgive water bill and replace water meter with 15 to 17 Williams Street.
You mean 3D? I'm sorry.
4D, item.
You don't have a 4.
I have trustees item.
Did I not print the new one?
Be updated.
Oh, heck. Okay.
Item 4D, again, it's consider request to forgive water bill
I have it.
and replace water meter, 1517 Williams Street.
Thank you. I see. I forgot to print that one.
Okay, so 4D, got it. All right, we have the minutes of April 24th. Have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so approved. Is there any public comment on items not on the agenda?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Just state your name.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
My name is Dan Freilich. I'm a candidate for Congress. I'm running in the Democratic primary, just to give some context, challenging Peter Welsh on August 14th. I want to be really respectful of your time, so if you tell me how much time would be fair.
3 minutes.
3 minutes? I knew you'd say that.
Yep. 2.5 now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say hello. We're going all over the state, and the reason that I'm running, I guess I'll give you 1 second about myself. I'm a Navy doctor. I've been in the service for 23 years, 15 active, 8 reserves. I'm full-time at the VA, but I also work at Fort Belvoir, and I also work at Walter Reed. I teach. I'm a professor. I'm a scientist. But more importantly, I became pretty enamored in the service with the concept of true public service. And the reason I decided to run is it's honor. And I am trying to help, not the only one in the country, but to be one of a new breed of politicians, so to speak, who are trying to minimize our conflict of interest and to abide by what we refer to as a standard of conduct for politicians. And the idea is that they don't take special interest money and try to rely on individual contributions alone. There are 51 what I call Justice Democrats. I'd be the 52nd around the country who are committed to not taking any corporate money. I actually go a step further and take no special interest money at all, so that I will be beholden to nobody other than the voters. Why do I think this is important? I think this is the walking the talk of campaign finance reform. Many Democrats say that they're against Citizens United and they want to reverse it, and I think that's correct. But they keep taking the money, and that kind of hypocrisy makes it impossible to actually advocate for the people for what really matters. I probably only have another minute or two, probably down to 1. Why do I think this matters? It matters because equity. And I think if Thomas Jefferson was going to redo it again, he would probably say equitable pursuit of happiness, not just pursuit of happiness in the Declaration, because if only the wealthy, a tiny small percentage of the population, has any chance of being happy and successful, that's not really what he meant. So I intend to prioritize, if I get elected, fighting for progressive taxation, making the income tax, the payroll tax, the capital gains tax, the estate tax and corporate taxes much, much more fair, because not because I'm trying to take money away from the rich, I just don't want to take money away from the middle class and give it to the rich. And I think that that is what we need to do in order to have the revenue and the resources to accomplish what most modern democracies do. And then the final 2 points, and I'll stop talking because I know I'm going to hit 3 minutes, is Medicare for all. I'm going to spend an enormous amount as a doctor and in the military, where I've participated in a federal government health system my entire life. It works, it's cheaper, it saves the economy $400 to $600 billion a year, and it will make us much more competitive, and we want us to do things like holding back on tariffs. It's the best way to make us be able to still sell our steel is if the cost of making steel, for example, is less because our health care is better. Not to mention it's the fair and right thing to do. And then finally, I intend to spend a lot of time fighting on massive investment in renewables, in mass transit, in a fair progressive carbon tax, so that we can save our planet, create a ton of jobs, and stimulate the economy. So I just wanted you to know what you get for your money, so to speak, if I get elected. Those are the 4 things that I'm going to be spending time in. And then finally, I feel so strongly about this issue of honorable service, so we actually represent the people that you may have seen in some of the newspapers. And Bob Kinzel, I spoke to him a few weeks ago, we made it publicly available that I would withdraw from the campaign if Mr. Welsh, who I'm running against, would do one thing. You know what that is? Step up to the plate, be one of the few leaders in the United States Senate and Congress already who are doing this, and stop taking the special interest money so that you can advocate on behalf of all of us. Be a leader, be a role model. Maybe young politicians will start doing the same, and maybe we can actually start changing things in this country. That's what I wanted to say. If it's okay with you, thank you. I'll just distribute some information. If anybody wants to sign a petition, this page is really special to us because we hit 500, which is what we need to get on the ballot at the end of this page, and then I'll get out of your hair. Any questions?
Thank you.
We're not beyond it.
No, I was just thinking you better hustle it because you got about to May 25th, I believe, at
That's
5
right.
p.m. to get your 500 signatures.
We're at like 480, so we're good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming
If you
in.
sit here, I'll sign it, but I have.
Okay. There you go.
You have to wait.
All right. Did anybody want to just ask 10 seconds of questions before? Well,
Doctor.
here you go, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Doctor.
I'm
Very
I
impressed.
have things to do.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
You want me to
Mr.
just move
Mitchell,
on?
Yeah, you could talk
You have
outside.
questions, could be outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
We've already started late.
I'm in New Hampshire.
Okay. So Shane.
I'll sign that petition.
Oh, I have a public.
Oh, sorry, of course. Hold on.
That's okay, so exciting, different stuff going on.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've been talking, there was a conversation online recently about the crosswalk by the former Cumbies and Lee's. And it's dangerous. You know, cars
Why?
come and go. Why?
Yes, why?
Cars coming, cars going 25 this way, that way. However, I don't think it should be moved because I looked and there's really no place else to put it other than further down the street where it's more inconvenient. I was wondering if there could be some
Gentlemen?
crossing language on the road painted on. It
That would have to be something we'll have to look into, but I think it's written into the state statutes what crosswalks can be.
okay, because that is Atkinson. Well, that's their street.
But what seems to be the problem, though? I mean, I'm not getting it. Is it
Cars
people-
aren't paying attention.
So are they just not stopping, or what?
Correct, and people are
Yeah.
almost getting clocked.
Then what I would suggest is that some people take the initiative, because the police department can't be everywhere, take the plate number down and call it in.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
but if you're walking in and you got your 2-year-old and you're trying to cross
Yeah.
the street, it's good, you're more concerned with your 2-year-old than you are trying to get the plate of the
Yeah.
car that almost knocked you down.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe another one of those portable
Well, that's-
signs.
Next suggestion I was
You
going
know,
to make. Yeah.
Because it's kind of, you got, if you're looking this way, you gotta look that way, and then you're trying, oh, okay, everything's good, and then here comes somebody out of Lee's size, and all, that's what I have to say. I thought I'd just put that out there, so,
Well, you could see the
have
difference in the
school
problem,
and stop.
Oh, yeah.
on
Coming
Queen.
off of 35, it's
Yeah.
right, 25 there,
Well,
right
yeah.
off that main drag there.
Yeah.
Speed,
So,
that's a problem.
And getting at night, that's,
Yeah.
in my opinion, not a very well-lit crosswalk.
Correct.
right.
So, I mean, I just think we just need a dozen more of those signs, really.
Oh, the stands,
The stands.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's.
the $300 stands.
Well, we just put,
Gary Liquay, putting a sign there, like we have in town, is not gonna work, because I have seen tractor trailers start using that, and if you put one of them signs there, the first one that comes through,
Take
it's
it
just
away.
gonna take it right
Yeah.
out, either way.
Gary, put the signs
Friday, I put
on
all
Friday,
brand new
and
signs up.
already out in front of Popelo's that got hit probably within the
Yeah.
past hour.
I hate to get into the mentality of increased law enforcement. I don't want to get into stopping Joe Shortsleeve because he's 5 minutes over, or 5 miles an hour with the speed limit because he's 5 minutes late for work. But I think if the police department and the municipality of the village here took an initiative to start stopping some people who are failing to stop for people in crosswalks,
You're absolutely
the word
correct.
would circulate very quickly that if you don't stop for a pedestrian in a crosswalk or somebody about to cross, that, you know, the problem would solve itself.
No,
Watch
you're
out,
absolutely
Mr.
correct, I
Shortstreet.
agree with that.
Yeah.
You know,
But
slow
to put a sign there,
crosswalk.
no.
Crosswalk.
Because they're expensive and the first
Yeah.
tractor trailer's gonna take it right out.
No, I agree with you on that one also.
So,
Okay.
any further public comment? Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, I want to call your attention to last year when we packed the Opera House for the second meeting, okay, the second village meeting. All the signatures that I got, everybody at that meeting, everybody that signed that signature, I took the time to talk to them. I know that there's a protocol for this, but at some point, we're going to have to change the way the village votes, budgets, and everybody, with the exception of one person out of the 89 signatures I got, said they wanted all-day balloting by Australian ballot at the polls, which would be more representative of than the handful of people that voted the budgets in the past. Now, I realize that there's a protocol for doing this, but it's not going to hurt to get an FYI, you know, a sampling of the people that go to the polls. That's one thing. The other thing is, Shane, thank you for talking with me. You indicated in the budget, they cut the budget by $70,000. But what is the total village budget this year?
1 point.
It's in the village report.
Yeah, which I'm blind, so I can't read
It's
it.
just under 1.7.
Yeah,
We
I'm just trying to get you the exact number.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.7 is this year's the amount to be raised by taxes. Proposed expenditure 19 is 1,674,220. The amount to be raised by taxes is $1,629,950.
And out of
It's a
that-
decrease of 77,000 or 4.4%.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we reduced the fire department budget by 243,000, the budget had been around 740,000. What is the police department budget right now?
I think this is a public comment, not a public inquiry.
Yeah.
So if the board wants to take it up under other business, we'll talk
Just
further about it.
To answer that question, that might make a little more sense, just to give that figure then, because
You mean the current year?
Yeah, roughly 1.2 approximately without looking
It's
at
in our
it.
paperwork.
that,
But let's take a look and see what it is exactly if we can, and
1.2 million for the.
get it off the plate. I don't have my book.
I'm sorry, what's
Yeah,
the
well-
question?
what the police budget is this fiscal year
current-
that's about to end.
1.08
The actual
million.
budget, total police department budget is $1,080,280. Right.
That's the current
There it is.
budget.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Mitchell.
you.
And is there, actually, we've run out of public, so,
We did.
Shane, do you have anything to report? That's it.
Yes, I do. Speaking of the village meeting, of course, next Monday evening is the village meeting, May 14th at 7 p.m. in the Opera House. We'll have all-day voting on May 5th, Tuesday. That's from 9 o'clock to 7 p.m. Absentee ballots are available from the town clerk's office. So, come out next Monday night, vote on Tuesday, and we'll see you there. Regarding sale of fire department vehicles, we received a high bid for the Suburban of $2,650. I counted with, you can counter, and so I counted with $2,800, and it was accepted. So for that vehicle, we got $2,800, more than we actually expected. On the bucket truck, we received a high bid of $14,300. I counted with $14,500, and they have 5 days to get back to us. So that's pretty good money on that. I thought that was going to be quite a bit less. So That's that. The fire department boat, motor, and trailer will be listed probably by the end of this week. We had to clean some things up, and actually the trailer had been donated to the department, so we had to get permission from the donor. Excuse me. Water shutoffs began yesterday, and they go through this Thursday as needed. Yesterday we did about 5 of them. One paid up right away. It was turned back on. Today we had either 4 or 5 done. So it's if you still have your water on, you're encouraged to pay any delinquent fees so that we don't have to turn it off. It's the last thing we want to do. And I just want to also announce that with our call fire department, we have now 29 members of the Bellows Falls call department, up from I think it was 23 this time last year. So that's a good trend, and that's what I have to offer.
Great, thank you, Shane.
Yep.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the request from Hurricane Acres LLC, request for water sewer bill forgiveness.
You have the information in your packet. We contacted Mr. Ansuri, who's not here, but he did put in a request. You may recall he purchased property from through a town's tax sale, and one of the issues that he's claiming is that he did not feel that legally he has to pay the water and sewer bills that had been due at that time. What I did include in the meeting packet was information about the delinquents, and also a letter that Ray Masuko had sent to Mr. Ansuri, and indicating that it's the same information, that the tax sale information for bidders, same thing that's been going out over the years, and the feeling on our part is that he was given due notice. There was, it's always been the situation where past due have to be paid up, and so from a staff level, my recommendation is to not waive off this and just call it that.
Do you need a motion to that effect, or suggest a motion?
Yeah, motion I guess would be to deny the request.
I'll make the motion that the Village of Bellows Falls and its trustees deny the request from Akbar Ashuri, reference Hurricane Acres LLC, for forgiveness of the water and sewer bill applicable to the property in the agenda request.
I'll second that.
Okay, I guess is there, so there's no, it's always been done in the past that when you buy the property.
Yeah.
According to Ray Masuko,
It's very clear.
he's been doing it for years.
So a tax sale will bring it current, that's part of the tax sale process.
Yeah, that's all I.
Mhm.
The situation a couple of weeks ago was a tad bit different, but in the realm, but this one here is pretty clear cut.
All right, any further discussion?
He's done a very nice job with these properties. And,
Yeah.
He's paid all the taxes, and he had 3 properties. There's no.
Yeah, he's done a nice job, stand-up individual, and but he feels that he should not have to owe that.
This brings to the point
Yes.
of the fact that you know how I felt about the Robertson paper mill. Just because it was a small amount that I think these nonprofit people could have paid to get it out of the way, whereas a citizen who is going to most likely, way before the Robertson paper mill becomes a viable property again, get these back on the market, because he's already working on them, he's having them cleaned up and so on and so forth, has no recourse to assist. He's paid all the back taxes, he owns the properties, he might have had back water and sewer on the other property, he owns 3, I guess, out of the many he bought, and these 2 are left. I just want to point out how glaring this becomes when you see someone who's actively trying to get this back on the books by fixing the properties up and getting them sold, or disposing of them and rebuilding, whatever has to happen in order to make the grand list, which in effect will help all of us, reducing our taxes by getting these back on, while the Robertson paper mill will go on for years without doing that. I'm just ranting because it just doesn't seem right that an active citizen who's trying to do something can't get any relief.
Well, I think 2 points to make, though, is that I believe the understanding with the Robertson papers that when that was transferred to the trust, that was a zero balance.
No, that's an old bill, over 2015.
I believe-
And they bought it before then.
When they bought it, they did bring it up to a zero balance.
was-
So where'd that come from?
But the meter was just left
Right,
running.
it was an
There
inadvertent
was some
usage
oversight.
piece as far as, and it's probably more the utilities' fault
So then who
than
was
that
using,
individual's.
so who was using the water during that period?
It-
Wasn't
it
the
was-
Green
it was the base
Mountain
fee.
Specialties or
Yeah,
that?
it was the
base
base
fee.
fee and
fee.
the
Fire
the
protection.
accumulation. Additionally, when he purchased these, this is pretty clear.
Yeah.
The documentation, when you're buying a property like this, as is.
I see this, although I
That's
can say
pretty-
I bid at a tax sale and I don't remember seeing this piece of paper, just saying.
Those would be the two standout pieces for me on that.
I don't agree with it, but okay.
Mr. Mitchell.
I've lived here all my life. I've never heard of hurricane acres. If you could be a little more specific on that and what great wonderful things are happening.
It lists Mr. Mitchell a Walpole, New Hampshire address,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
And I've heard of this gentleman, I don't believe he's a resident of this community.
He's not.
And how much is the water bill that he's asking that we forgive?
It's public record, the two properties come to over $6,000
$6,000.
in water and waste.
How much did he buy the property
I don't know
for?
that.
I mean,
Exactly.
it's beside.
not here.
It's beside the point at this, there are many LLCs that get formed, every year.
It lists 227 Rockingham Street, I believe, and 3 Pine Street, so I don't know if those are rentals or single families or what.
They were, yeah.
27 is where the halfway house was. There was, before was Robert McBride's property,
Ah,
correct?
okay.
Well, so
Oh.
so the point is that this business is rehabbing unwanted properties, and he's doing a
Mhm.
good service, but the motion on the table is to reject the request, or to dismiss the request.
To deny.
Deny, excuse me. Any further discussion on this? All in favor of denying?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
It's okay. 1%. Okay, up next, we have the Finance Office, Ron Krabowski, the 2018 year-to-date budget status.
Okay, I go over a few points and then, I'll just entertain any questions you might have. Let's start with the general fund. Well, let's see. Okay, on the general fund, if you look at the police department wages, that would be on
Page-
page 5.
How far through the year are we percentage-wise?
We are 83.3% through the year.
You just looking at the wages? Do you have a different report date than we did?
Is yours dated 5/2?
Uh-huh.
So
5 of 23,
Yeah,
police department.
right, but he said just the wages, that's 80.11%. Doesn't say 83%.
That's what I have.
Well, in time-wise, we're at 83.3%.
Percent through the year.
Through the year.
Okay.
Through the year, yeah. Now, I did, based upon the past couple of months or so, I projected out what the total will be at the end of June for each one of these line items. The chief's salary is projected to be approximately $67,000, which is a little over 1,000 over budget. The full-time officers is projected to be 384,000, which is approximately 1,700 over budget. The clerk's salary, it's projected to be 141,200, so there's really no difference there. Part-time officers is projected to be 38,900, which is approximately 11,000 under budget. And finally, overtime is projected to be 38,000, which is approximately 12,000 under budget. So all in all, the police department payroll is anticipated to be 20,000 under budget. I didn't do the fire department, but the chief's salary is going to be slightly higher than what was budgeted. I think maybe $1,000 higher. So those, to me, were the big items. The benefits will just follow suit on the payroll. Some of the benefits are fixed costs. They won't change, but the variable costs like the FICA taxes, VEMRs, et cetera, those will change, and they should follow the decrease. I'll open it to questions now for on the general fund.
Any questions before we move on?
Okay. Steve?
Yep, next one.
Okay, the water department. Again, the same thing on the payroll. I projected out what the payroll would be running through the end of the year. This is on page 9 of 23. The water personnel, I'm projecting it to be 149,000, which is 12,000 over budget.
Down the bottom.
Overtime, however, I'm projecting it to be 10,500, which is approximately 9,000 under budget, for a net of 3,000 over budget.
Why is the water personnel budget going to be that high?
Because Ray left, and we had to pay out
Okay.
vacation, all that sort of thing.
And how are we doing with the water bills just went out recently? How are we doing with the, I see the delinquent report in here. Are there people taking the initiative to come in here? And
They're
make
coming in
arrangements?
paying. I mean, they're, you know, there's phone calls. Pam's getting phone calls, and she tries to explain. I think people understand the reason we had to go up. Whether they like it or not, they understand the reason. And I think knowing that, they can accept it. But yeah, I think we're gonna possibly see delinquency rate go up a little bit, especially on ones that are delinquent. Now, as Shane said earlier, we had shut off 5 so far, 2 of which came in and paid and had their service turned on again. And there's approximately, I think she said there's 4 or 5 that we can't shut off for various reasons. So I think one of them, the shut-off valve is in a road. So, I mean, there's still a
Well,
lot of old equipment out
Yeah.
there.
Right, well, there's one in the square, in fact, and we are gonna dig that out and
Curb stop it.
put in a curb stop, because it's a habitual delinquent. We also have someone else who gave us a physician's certificate, which we rejected because it didn't meet state regulations. So that's gonna go forward with a shut-off, unless it's paid up or a statutorily appropriate physician's certificate is issued.
Now, there seems to be our consistent users that are always delinquent. And in some cases, it's increased, their delinquency is increasing year upon year upon year. One recommendation we should possibly look into is take the people to small claims court. You know, the fee is not that.
It depends on how much it is.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna take a $100 bill, but if we're talking, you know, $1,000-$2,000, and a filing fee, I don't know what it is in Vermont, we could potentially recover some of that money, if not all of it.
I don't know how you're gonna recover it if they aren't able to pay now, and you got a judgment against them, how they to satisfy a judgment if they're unable to pay.
You have to,
That's
you have
a
to follow the
risk,
judgment.
that's a risk you take,
I mean, I am of the understanding we used to do that.
yeah. And it
And then we
has
stopped.
collected
Well-
some, from what I understand.
I do recall, and I think we'd ought to research it, but I do recall some conversation with the village attorney at the time of we used to do that, and there may be some reasons why we used to do that. So probably we ought to check into that.
Find out why we don't do it now.
Manager, if we could, yeah, well, just let's look into it, find out why,
Yeah.
before we, you know. If we could.
See why not?
Okay, I'll look into it. I'll discuss with Pam, because she's
Sure.
aware of that, and then we can go from there.
Is there anything else on the water fund, Ron? Or any questions from the board?
No, I think any of the overages we have talked in the past, there's nothing new.
There's no way to shut off wastewater, right? So, I mean, part of the way, part of the
I wouldn't
water
wanna try.
Well, no, I'm just saying, the delinquent water bills, the wastewater's in there too. And you can't shut,
Well,
can't shut that off.
Well, you shut the water
That's the
and then
incentive.
you shut the wastewater.
Right.
So then it won't, it won't take, even if it's in the village.
Water
and-
in, water out.
So no, wait, there's no out pipe? I mean, you shutting, the shut off is the shut off, it does both ends, that's what I'm
You
asking.
just shut off the water going
Water,
in,
which- yeah.
and
So that
eventually
means
just
there's
takes
no
care
water
of it.
going in. Oh, yeah, but some could,
So I
I
guess-
can't imagine anybody living somewhere that wanted to dump
They
Well, if
could,
they want.
buckets full of water down a toilet.
Go for it.
Unfortunately, it might,
Go for
You
it.
get some of it.
people might be dumping on the side of the road from Home Depot buckets or something.
Just a thought. It's like, you can't, it's, yeah, essentially it should be done, both at the same time. Okay, it does, all right.
Any
You're not Rockingham, we're
questions
Village
on-
of Hillsborough.
that's it, we're good to go on to wastewater.
Okay, wastewater. Okay, I did the same thing on the wages.
What's your head?
On the wastewater personnel, page
Start whistling that
13
theme.
of 23. The personnel is projected to be 167,000, which is about 15,000 or so, give or take, over budget.
And why? Just like in water, what's the difference?
Did we have
I don't know why
someone
that would be.
Yeah,
leave wastewater?
No.
did this have to do with the upgrades to the plant, where overtime and? No, because overtime's a separate line.
No.
No, overtime was,
Overtime separate.
Yeah.
pretty much, I project overtime to be 16.9, so.
That'll be
It's
just
flat.
under, yeah, flat. So under what?
Well, we'll find it out.
Okay.
What was the number you said, 167?
167.
Okay.
The pump station personnel is projected to be 4,000,
Yeah.
which would be 3,200 down. And SR wastewater,
Saxon's River.
yeah, is estimated to be 14,000. So that'd be about 2,400 below. So all in all, we're looking at about 9,600 over budget. And I will check out the wastewater personnel.
Any further questions with wastewater? Okay.
Now, I didn't do anything else on all of the other, but there was a question raised last meeting.
Yes, item, the capital fund use.
Yeah, you know, can the capital fund balance, I think it's approximately 2,800. Can that be used to offset the police car purchase? Yes. So we can, you know, apply $2,800 to the fund balance towards that purchase.
But would we want to do that?
That's, you
I don't
know,
know.
I'm not sure how long that 2,800 has been sitting there.
But there may be a situation where you need it
Right.
at another time.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
you know, like I said, all I was supposed to do is
Right.
can it be used?
Right, I understand that.
Yeah, obviously the decision
Yeah.
is the board, so. Okay, I think that wraps it up for me unless you have further questions.
Maybe while he's here, maybe were there anything under the orders, bills, and warrants while he's here that were of particular interest?
I have no questions.
No.
No? Okay.
All right, well, thank you, Ron.
Oh.
All right, our next item is, oh, yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell.
I'd like to ask a question. The taxpayers got a 25% increase in their water and sewer bills. Do the users that contract like Walpole and Westminster, do they get a 25% increase?
Walpole is, their rates are based upon the actual flow, their flow into the system versus ours, and it's based upon the operating expenses of the plant. So it's not a straight rate. But of course, the operating expenses are going up because of, you know, all the improvements and so forth.
Yeah, they-
Repairs should go down, but.
Yeah, they participate in some of the bonds, not all of them, some of them.
Okay,
So their percentage of the cost and the bonds is approximately 30%, 30 to 31%.
out of the 1,800,000 that we bonded.
Oh, they're paying
We haven't-
30% of the 6.8 million, I think.
Right. Yeah, that $1.8 million project hasn't been done yet. Well, parts of it have been done, but not, we haven't executed the final bond.
Okay, now I know you don't want me to touch on this, but the person that just appealed his water bill, that building, the rehab on it came to a screeching stop. They discovered that the furnace was gone in the building, and they're looking to unload that building at 227 Rockingham Street.
And
I
that's-
happen to know because I know the tenants that were going to move in there. And they were notified by the Walpole entity.
But yes, that's not,
Okay,
it's,
but I'm
it's
just
not
letting you
relevant.
know, I
Thank
got
you.
my ears and eyes to the wall. I know things that you people might not necessarily know.
Thank
And I'm
you.
just letting you know, I'm watching.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Are we ready to move on to number 3, unsafe buildings? This is the revised agenda. All right, we have 203 Paper Mill Road.
Yeah, provided to the board is a copy of a letter dated May 4th from Chief Sean McGinnis. You'll recall at the last meeting, the board took a vote, and I quote, Deb Wright made a motion that the board instructs the municipal manager to begin the process to have the building at 203 Paper Mill Road declared an unsafe building. So I directed the fire chief to take the steps that are outlined in the unsafe building ordinance, which he did. And so he went out and inspected the property. There's some photographs that are in your packet, and should be a copy of the ordinance.
Yep.
And, so on page 3 of the ordinance, section 7A, this report has been made. If the report of the inspection indicates that there is merit to the complaint, then the trustees will designate within 3 days following the next regularly scheduled meeting a committee of 3 who shall inspect within 15 working days. That committee would consist of qualified structural engineer, the fire chief, and the health officer. And the letter from the chief, all in all, he says, I find the building to be dangerous and unsafe for the reasons stated above, which are in there. Finding merit of with the trustee's complaint.
Then we just,
I would move that we designate a committee of 3 to perform the next report for the unsafe building.
Second.
any discussion?
Yeah,
All
I
in
have a
favor? Oh,
I
sorry.
have a question, one of which would have to be a structural engineer. I know we've been working with a structural engineer on our sidewalk project. I find him to be very reliable. He could be someone we could use, but he's not free, and there are none who are free.
Yeah. I know I made the motion, but I would ask, did we do this, get this far the last time we had this building, which hasn't changed, on the unsafe building list?
Could,
I don't know.
is it possible to have, use a structural engineer, but instead of, they can just look over the existing report that was made back when the Justice Center was proposed?
Question would be if the sheriff's department, if the county paid for that, if the county,
It was the sheriff's money, he said, so I don't know
Yeah.
if we ever received the entire thing, although
So,
I
I
would have
mean-
thought the development office would have gotten it.
it'd be a public document if they use county money or
Yeah, it
public
would.
money, so.
Except for the strange statutes on the sheriff. He has money that he receives from contracts, and he can use that money any way he sees fit, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's money that's considered public money. They receive from contracts.
Well,
That was part of the problem.
Wasn't there a
getting
comment
it
made
before.
here when a similar question came and he was here at one
Mhm.
point? Well, I'd have to.
Although that was a few years ago now, so whether it's
Yeah.
even accurate compared to with the condition of the building currently, maybe we should just go with a new one.
I guess, I would suggest it, whatever, if there's any if there's a more prudent way, to save some money on this, but go with the engineer that you feel should carry out the job. Is there any objections?
Sure.
Just to keep the process
Yeah,
moving.
That's right, keep it moving.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like Chernobyl down there.
Again, it hasn't gotten any better since we looked at it in
Absolutely
2013,
not. No.
2012, 2013.
Paper the other day, they were filming that, World War II era segment or something? I mean, you could probably do something down
Oh,
here.
yeah, I saw that.
So, so the motion's on the table. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. So passed.
So I'm assuming we would see something by the next meeting, according to the statute anyway, if that's possible.
Whatever the process is.
15 days, I think it says. Okay.
Within 15 minutes. Probably won't make it to the next meeting. All right, so moving to number 4. First we have is reviewing the Blake Street Garage Village / County costs.
That was something I think Jiggs had asked about, wasn't it?
Yes.
When we're looking at the agreement between our paying, we pay for the insurance and, what was the other thing? There's one other thing we pay for. Insurance on the building and.
That's it.
something-
Insurance.
That's just it.
On this
So
building.
I would have to say that the insurance looks like it's a lot smaller than compared
We're
to these figures,
we're
right?
getting the good side of the deal on that one.
And the village is, particularly water, is still storing a lot of stuff in that building.
We are?
It's being used for storage.
But a sleeping dog.
I've never actually been in the building, so I don't know. But
No.
no closer than the sand shed, that's it.
No? Well, I would suggest that the tour not get skipped this coming summer
Oh,
after elections. 'cause
you mean
that
the bus
it was-
tour?
Yeah, I mean, it was enlightening.
I remember how well that went the last time you had one.
There were delays, but I mean, it really, because otherwise, when do we get to see
Oh, that was a
all
real
of these
adventure.
moving
Oh,
pieces?
it was, sure, I'm sorry, I missed it.
I think it'd be particularly interesting to see the wastewater plant with the upgrades.
With all the upgrades, yeah.
So I would say that's gonna be up to you, Deb, but
Oh,
I'd
okay.
say it was a worthwhile experience,
Uh-huh.
even with all the problems. So I guess we're fine. Can we consider it so reviewed?
So
Yep.
moved.
All right.
So no issues?
No,
No.
no, well, the,
Well, I
Oh.
did.
no, he just said, but we didn't make a
To
motion, no.
reference
So-
those,
so
yeah,
reviewed,
We're good,
yeah.
so reviewed.
Yeah,
The annual village meeting prep?
okay,
No.
No.
Yeah.
no.
It's a good deal.
Oh, and apparently Mr. McAuliffe cannot seem to, I don't know why, open, maybe he doesn't have Adobe Acrobat. So I talked to him this morning on the phone, so I took and converted the documents he was looking for into Word, and I sent them back to him.
The thing is, what happens is,
That's
we do
wonderful.
have an
Yeah.
issue. For some reason, he can't open PDFs from Kerry. If I forward the same document to him, he can.
What does it matter? It's all PDF.
I don't know. Anyway, we've had our technician, our Theo, our IT guy, look at it. We're still trying to figure it out. What we need to do is have him at our facility and have both Kerry's computer open and Jiggs's computer open and figure it
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I've been to his house, I don't know what he uses for a system. I don't know if when he's traveling, if he uses a computer, if he just tries to use his phone, I have no idea.
I mean, if I send him a PDF, the same document that is sent from Kerry's computer, if sent from my computer,
He can open it.
he can open it.
And I didn't have this issue when his wife was on the board.
Village president, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that, we suspect it's on his side, it may be, may not be, we're gonna get to the bottom of it.
I just thought, well, if I stick it in Word, he can read it, he's fine with it.
I tried it in Word too.
Yeah? Oh,
Oh, it didn't go?
he
Really?
still had, oh.
So it's something.
Some kind of allergy or something.
Okay, so it's still a mystery.
Still a mystery, yeah.
So
But we're
B.
working on it.
But he had the question about the Blake Street stuff,
Right.
so now that we have the information, he might bring it up at another meeting. Just heads up.
No, that's a good point. So annual village meeting prep?
Okay. Oh, look, you already put names on it.
What's that?
You look, you already put names?
Yep.
Gave us our assignments.
I just went down and.
I got the easy one.
motions. The big money one is usually always done by the president.
Yep, Right.
If anybody has an issue with any of these,
I certainly can change it, but
Do I have a copy of that?
it's in the packet.
You got to close it back,
Is there any changes?
Didn't Casey say something on here?
No, he'll be back by this
Oh,
one
will
week?
he?
I
Okay.
think so.
I have no idea.
He didn't, yeah, he'll be
He
back.
said he was gone for 2 weeks, but I thought that would be done by the end of this week.
All right.
So I think that means he'll be
Okay.
back.
Sign.
Yeah, because I know he's assigned Article number 5, yeah.
Well, if he's not, guess who?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because Stefan, you don't have
Yeah.
an assignment at all. Hey, that's not fair.
All right, so there's moving on.
We're covered, okay. So
Okay.
Carrie, did you talk to the, prep for the meeting, did you talk to the youth group that are gonna do the cookies and stuff? Because I told her to,
I did contact them. My only concern was what kind of pastries they're gonna be serving, so I don't want anything with
That's-
jellies.
Gooey
or
and messy
you know,
and-
all
yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be brownies and
cookies
chocolate
and
chip
stuff?
cookies.
Yeah,
And
easy.
while normally we don't allow for anything like that, because we don't like any kind of competition
Oh,
with the,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, 'cause the
but we're,
concession stand's open.
is the concession stand gonna be open? Because
Yeah,
it hasn't
yes,
been many.
yes.
yeah, but
If they were-
these are things that are,
Developing.
Okay,
as much as I don't like to do it, we're gonna do it.
try to get more, I mean, I'd like to see more youth turn up at our meetings, our annual meetings, because they're the future of our,
Yeah,
Of
I
our
agree with
boards and
that.
the
They're
community.
good. I looked up the organization a little bit, they seem to be doing some good work.
Mhm.
You know, we'd like to,
Okay.
as you say, reward the
this year,
youth.
give it a shot and see how it goes.
Yep. One crumb.
Hey, listen, the last year we had popcorn, I spilled half a cup of it.
Well, we're used to popcorn, we just
That was the one
I
with all
know,
the butter in it.
but cookies and gooey chocolate chips and stuff, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
So, any further prep?
One of the questions I have for the board is, last year, before the budget, in the village report, I put together a one-pager, which has all the, has all the numbers. But in the previous year, I did something like that, but also provided charts and graphs and all that sort of thing. Is that something you guys want again? It's not too difficult to do it. We broke it up into pie charts.
I don't see why not.
I think
Yeah.
it was helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah, and any kind of visual data like that
Yeah.
is good.
We've got the format, so it's not a big
Yep,
deal.
just plug the numbers in.
Because, I mean, because that way it's something to refer to when someone has a question.
Right, and I'll just cut and paste this document that's in the village report now and put that as a lead.
so do we think we're going to get a lot of questions about the wastewater? Because of the increase, and we anticipate another one
Well,
in
it's-
October.
Pretty, I mean, that's pretty black and white right there, why it's gone up as Ron had stated, so I mean,
Mhm.
I imagine we'll have
Like
some
it's
irks.
not
Sure, we have our-
being voted on.
Right.
No, it
Technically,
isn't.
It's not the subject
It's
of
not
the
subject to
village
that,
meeting.
but people may bring it up anyway in other
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
so, okay.
Okay, there's nothing, all right. Any further review of the meeting warning with the motions as assigned?
Yep.
All right, then we go to item D.
D.
Yeah, the
It
one
was
he added.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
It's
added at the
added.
beginning, and I would repeat it, but of course I buried the one that I wrote on. Shane, could you talk about item D?
Yeah, and I received this document back on April 30th, and I just neglected to give it to the board until I found it again. This is from an individual named Carol Kawaki from White River Junction. She owns property at 15 and 17 William Street. And there is a pretty large bill for water and sewer, particularly water. And our department did go up there and check, and everything looks to be working just fine. But and I think that we did offer to test the meter. But if we test it and it's accurate, the cost of that goes to the individual.
Right, I think we.
Oh.
Anyways, she's
What's
look-
it, 25? There's a
yeah,
fee for that.
this is not enough time for the board really to look at it, or else to do, have done any research, so I was thinking I just wanted to hand it out. It's a subject that we should probably talk about at the next
Yeah.
meeting. And I just don't like to surprise you with something like this, but
Yeah.
it's, we need to do a little bit more research on it.
Yeah, the big thing I think is to make sure the meter is working accurately or not working accurately.
Right.
And, I mean, I've had rental property,
Mhm.
you got a tap outside, it's, let's not go to the car wash and bring it over here and just wash it there,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whether or not the,
Toilets run.
sure,
You know,
toilets run.
If toilet runs, that'll.
Oh, is there a
okay.
garden out there, somebody watering the garden? I don't mean, or is the meter,
Or is there a leak somewhere?
oh, I said they had the
Who
plumber
knows?
there,
Yeah.
so.
All right, so,
Right. Anyway, I just want to hand this out. We just put it on the agenda for the next meeting. We'll do a
But
little
when you,
research.
you figure it out for 3 renters, I don't know if that translates into 3 apartments or what. It's a
yeah, I
pretty
don't
big
know.
house.
It's just 3 people.
You figure an average bill,
Mhm.
it doesn't seem too out of reason at times, having owned a rental property or rental properties. So, if we can get a determination on whether or not that meter's working accurately, that'd be a big help.
So I think, so try to get it on for the
Yeah.
Yeah.
meeting after the village meeting.
Because making sense of this, if there's any delinquent in that
Mhm.
figure, and
That'd be the other.
that'd be
thing.
for the
Yeah,
6 months,
'cause that
right?
can-
So
That can jump it.
that could change the whole
Yep.
thing, so yeah,
Yep.
it's worth looking at. So next meeting, okay.
Overtime and comp time reports. Any comments?
You get there.
There's no, we'll say,
Those also.
Oh, that was.
no further comment. We have the fire and police department call logs. Stop me if I'm going too fast. but,
Well, maybe slow down a little bit. but- It's like your last official meeting.
I
want to,
know.
like,
I
savor
know,
it.
I'm
don't
just-
rush it, yeah.
Just,
Don't mention the Russians, you don't need collusion here.
Look, you know, look, only 5 medical assists.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Not say, I'll say nothing further about that.
so any further comments then about full police log then? Okay. The next regular trustees meeting is. Oh, I
Here we
did.
go, yep.
I always do. Oops. Sorry. So the task list and board goals as we
Yes, sir.
agreed on them. Let's see if I can find that.
Oh, okay. How is that going, the parking attendant? Been about a month,
We
I
sent a
think.
letter to the union. We gave them 2 weeks to respond. The 2 weeks is up on Thursday.
Okay,
So on Thursday, I'll
you'll know.
assume that they're no longer interested and we'll proceed.
Okay.
All right. I mean, otherwise, looking. There were no increases for next year.
Mhm.
Big round of applause.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I guess-
anything specific? I mean, we can go down.
Should we
every
eliminate,
item.
well, I was gonna ask if we should eliminate the jobs line discussion, because that's already gone past, and
Right.
and something's happened, it's already been
Right.
moved in,
I
so.
think, yeah, we can eliminate that.
Yeah. Probably the manager's goals should be empty too, because we'll have a new manager at some
Because
point.
we're there.
Well, I think you should keep them, because you're gonna
No,
wanna.
no, we wouldn't
you're gonna wanna
eliminate the
have
line,
goals.
but the 6-month goal develop, I don't know if we should have, that be a brand new one whenever that happens, right? So
I guess come up with a new, that'll
a
be
new,
one.
6-month,
Yeah.
You've got that at the bottom of the page too.
is it? Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Pellet boiler's been sold.
Right.
Yay,
Yeah.
glad not to see that anymore.
All right, and yeah, we
Budget's
just
been
have
done.
the trailer. Ordinance is still going on. I certainly have been taking my time with that. I apologize.
Yeah, now there's no more time,
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah.
Well, I'll gladly continue.
You want to serve, right?
On
So,
the committee,
so-
yeah, after the election.
That'd be great.
Uh,
Oh, that would bring me to asking, have the parking and municipal traffic ordinances been submitted to Ray Masuko for review? Because that's where we are now. We can't do the hearings until we get feedback from Ray.
I
Thought we did.
Yes, you did. I'm pretty sure you sent it to him.
Check on that.
Okay. Because we'll go forward after he has feedback, right, so. I realize that's probably part of the reasons why ordinances don't get reviewed more often, because every time you make a change, you have to take it to the attorney.
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna make some money off of that deal. Okay.
Village revitalization, I'm not sure how much the board has been involved with it, but the downtown, the BIFTA is doing, BIFTA and the chamber are doing events through the springs. There'll be a tour of available spaces, and they're making it into like a real event. So there'll be a lot of prospective business owners and people touring through.
But the 18th?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, for
that's right.
Bellows Falls and Bloom, yeah. So that's great. Any other?
The cash flow thing, should that go now?
Yes, because that we
We did that.
We
got
got
through that.
that, yeah.
And the water and sewer rates, that's
Mhm.
got done too. Budget's been approved.
and
I
then
don't know, what was that last one? Legal revenue options.
that was kind of more about trying to be more creative about what assets we do
Oh,
have.
right,
You
okay.
know, cell tower.
Right, that's being worked on.
Yeah. Anything further? All right. The agenda items for the next regular meeting. What do we have?
4D, right?
Yeah,
that one.
4D, 17 Williams.
Maybe the 203 Paper Mill Road item will be back by then?
So possibly.
Possibly.
Unsafe buildings.
Right.
Housekeeping, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
When does the paving start, Shane?
Oh,
After next week?
No.
No, I thought in the middle of May they were gonna start the old terrace stuff.
That may, actually, I'm waiting for the contract from Steve Ancuda.
Okay.
Bear with me a second. We're gonna be doing sidewalk work first, because there are certain
Oh, okay.
locations where, one of the most critical things is the curbs. We need to either, in some cases, raise curbs, other cases, lower them, some cases, replace them. So that, all that work has to be done in concert with some new sidewalk work. A lot of that's gonna depend on what kind of pricing we get. So we have our engineer working on that right now, and we're hoping to go out to bid and get it done soon, because we do wanna get that done before the paving.
Right.
The paving will be after alumni.
Are you doing the sidewalk going out of town?
Yes, on this side of the road,
Across from
going up to.
Hulacat, across from there?
That's gonna get designed, but probably not done this
year.
I don't think
Okay.
it's gonna get done, because
Curious.
the curb is in good shape. It would be easy to replace that.
Right. I was just curious on that, retain that, because you've got that little retaining wall there too.
Yeah.
That runs up alongside it, that's sketchy in spots, so, just
Right.
curious.
Yep, it's all being designed on both sides, all the way up, but we're gonna bid it out in pieces.
Yep.
So we'll see what the bottom line is.
Okay.
It's gonna be an active summer.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, agenda for the next joint board meeting. We'll have a special meeting with the joint board at some point, most likely, to talk about the manager search and interviewing.
Probably next week, the way it sounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Do we already have some stuff on the joint board meeting for the 29th?
We do. Ray Mizuko will be in to do this board training that he does after.
Yeah.
You got updates from BIFTA and the chamber again. Infrastructure's on there with traffic and signage and lighting, crosswalk lighting.
We're gonna update on downtown paving, I think.
On the joint board?
The joint board, isn't it on here somewhere?
we probably, because I mean, we've just been we're interested, so we might have.
Something else, I don't
I thought
remember.
it was on the,
Oh, Gary Fox had something he's putting on joint board.
When you get it, we'll know.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the more opportunities that,
Yeah.
that FACT has to, for us to talk about the
On the
sidewalk
trustee
and stuff.
task list, the first item, town paving,
Mhm.
discuss 529 joint board meeting.
Right, we did ask for that, so.
All right, if there's nothing else, we have orders, bills, and warrants to approve.
Make a motion to approve orders, bills, and warrants as printed.
Seconded.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so approved. Other business. So we'll start with me. Since there's no other end of the table today.
That's true.
Carrie?
Oh, there is.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Just this is my last, regular trustees meeting. It's been a great experience. I've learned a lot more about our community in the last 2 years, and for all of its ups and downs, I would do it again. Absolutely. So
20 years.
I don't know if they'll let me wait that long, but it's been fun. So thank you, everyone. Stephanie.
Just want to say thank you for your service as the village president. And we'll have some changes, I'm sure, here next week.
Oh, yeah.
And just a reminder for people to attend the annual village meeting on Monday night at the Opera House at 7 o'clock and all-day balloting on Tuesday. So, that's all.
Thanks.
Me also, thank you for your service and continuing on the ordinance committee, that'll be good. And just letting people know that that progress is being made on my house. The cleanup was done this last week. They were really speedy about it once we finally got figured out who was supposed to be doing it. And, yeah, and it looks much better for myself as well as the rest of, I have neighbors that I'm gonna have long-term relationship with, and I wanna make them happy too. So sometime before the end of this month, we should be able to begin construction. I'm still waiting for 1 or 2 bids back before we make a decision. The process is slower than I
Drawn out.
hoped for,
Yeah.
but it is moving along. And there are lots of untended plants and flowers growing on my property right now. So.
All right, well, this is my last regular meeting as well, and I echo Miles' sentiments. It really is a great experience. I've lived here all my life and been to different village town meetings, always seen it from the outside, reading about it, watching TV, things like that. I would definitely express that if you have an interest, if you really have strong opinions you want out there, get into the process. It is really fascinating. It is. It's very different. In fact, I have come from a very different world. So municipality government is it's neat. It's definitely a different animal. So but it's a good experience.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
You're
Yes.
an asset to the board.
All right.
Just tell me.
All right, and Shane, is there anything further from you?
Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I know I'll see you both around.
Absolutely. All right. There's a need for executive session tonight.
There is or isn't?
There is or
There is.
isn't?
I have something under contracts. Is that ready?
Oh, that's probably.
Or is that leftover?
Oh, that's a leftover.
Okay.
Okay. Whew. I did have a little bit of a sinking heart there. I was like,
It's like, oh no.
All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.